Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Sitting outside because it's beautiful out, so I figured why not. So before we start, no chat obviously this afternoon with the gang, but I figured I would do a quick live one. So we're sitting outside, having a little bit of sake, and I've got some cigars. Get myself set up here. Delicious. I've really grown to love sake quite a bit. We don't have that many options at our liquor store, so I usually pick the biggest, cheapest bottle. I've tried them all now that we carry. They're all fine. I'm sure this is like the Tsingtao of sakes, though. If I went to someone who was hardcore. I feel like I'm doing a Chicho video right now. Okay. So, didn't read a ton this week, a little bit, and yeah, not too much to say about them. So we'll just kind of start and we'll go through it. The first one I wanted to talk about was this isn't one that I read. I don't know if I will actually read it, but this is an important one for us here locally. A friend of mine, Stefan Rexedler, has been doing art for a while. I have a cover that he did for me. It's a Daredevil. I've shown it before here a long time ago. It's a Daredevil that he did for me on one of those sketch covers. I think it was for a Defenders comic, maybe. So he's been doing he's done artwork throughout his life. He's directed some short films. He was doing for a while some art for Marvel trading cards. So I guess his stuff got on the radar of the kayfabe guys and of Rob Liefeld. And he was approached. Rob apparently sent him some pages to ink, and he was surprised at how quick the turnaround was for everything. And then so he did a page in this new book. He got to ink a Liefeld, and that's this is his page here. So shout out to Stefan Rexedler. Even though they absolutely butchered the spelling of his name in the comic, he was saying he said that that's why I sign my stuff Rex these days, because that way it's easier for people. They spelled his name Stephen Rexedler and then just swapped out the vowels. But hey, he said it was pretty exciting to get this and see. He said he did a stack of like a few Liefeld pages, and I know that according to the back of this one, they're looking to do the same with Brigade. So I don't know if he also had a page there as well. But I think, like, first of all, the page that he got to do is pretty amazing in itself. Just to do have a page where it's the main character is pretty incredible. But then I think he did a stellar job on it. He's done some really great stuff. So you can find him on Instagram as well too. If you want to give him a follow. So that's great, but I don't know if I'll ever read that Prophet. I haven't even finished the Brandon Graham run that he did a number of years ago. So not that I didn't like it. I loved that Brandon Graham stuff, but this early stuff isn't really my thing. I guess another one that I don't have too much to say. The next couple, just because I feel like we all rave about them every single time. Shaolin Cowboy #3. Again, super fun, amazing art. I was hoping there was a fight scene in here. I mean, let me just rephrase that. There's a fight scene throughout all of the books, no matter which Shaolin Cowboy you're reading. But there was one specifically when he mutates that this is fantastic. This page, the whole book is fantastic, but this is one I would have loved to have seen an entire issue with him fighting this creature the entire time. I think would have been phenomenal, kind of like what he did with these zombies, where what that lasted at least one issue, probably 2 issues, where it was just a continuous fight scene. It would have been great to see something like that for this one. So I mean, it continues to be good. I got the Stan Sakai cover for no reason other than it was the only one left because I was on holidays. So when I went to pick up my books, this was the only cover that they had left, so I grabbed it. Another one, not too much to say about it. Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids. Super fun. Garbage Pail Kids. Let me see here. Sorry, give me 1 sec, everybody. Post comment. Guests. Invite a guest. Copy to clipboard. If I disappear, give me 1 sec here, people. Now, how do I chat? Hello, Damien. Give me 1 sec here. I'm not sure how I can. If I'm still here, I think I'm back now. Sorry about that. Damien, I put the link into the Twitter thread there. So it's a book. I love the Mad Balls toys. I don't have much allegiance to childhood toys, but that is one that I absolutely adored when I was a kid. I've got all the Star comics. They did a Mad Balls series a number of years ago. Mondo did these special Mad Ball releases, so I bought those as well. So I was all over this one. I got the 3 main covers just because I do love the art. So that's like the trading card variant. Sure thing. And then there was this one and this. And I mean, with all of this stuff, there's 10 million different covers, but those are the ones that I decided to pick up. And the art is a lot of fun in it. Exactly what I would be hoping for with something like this. The thing that was fun about the previous series was they had a lot of independent, kind of more unusual, arty kind of artists, and so each of the issues had some fantastic art from people. So I'm not sure if this entire series is going to be done by the same group. I believe so. And then I think that there's talk of doing a Garbage Pail Kids comic as well too. I thought there was an ad in here. No, there's not an ad in this. I saw that somewhere. Maybe I saw it online. But here's the creators for this one here. Jason Crosby, Shoaly Fish, and then Joe Simcoe doing the cover for cover A. And that's him here on this one. So no surprises. It's pretty straightforward. It's silly. It's goofy. Just what you would expect. Nothing, we're not breaking any rules of writing or anything or pushing the genre forward in any way with this one. It's just a lot of fun. And then the other one that I don't have much to say other than some of the art, which as we all know is mind-blowing. The final issue of Norse mythology Really great. This is Ragnarok. This is kind of taking us through what happens and then what happens afterwards, kind of with the next generation, the kids. One of the things that blew me away with this one, I am so steeped in P. Craig Russell these days. These pages here, or I stopped and just stared at them. I love the colors. I love the shapes of this fire and all of that. And I love the layout of this page too. Just really nice kind of landscapey / abstract forms done in his beautiful, beautiful style. Really, really incredible stuff. So this ends what is, I don't know, there's a few of us that have talked about it, Jared Osborne, Sleepy Reader, and myself specifically. There's other people as well too, but this is just ends the 3 volume series of this Norse mythology, Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. I'm sad to see it go. Here we go.
Hey.
Ad, hello, how are you?
I am very unprepared, but I'm excited to...
Well, there you go. That's okay. Unprepared is
fine. But I have
okay.
read the Norse mythology you're talking about.
And, yeah. So what did you think of it?
Well, like you, I feel like the last 2 issues are a little just what I expected, except that having P. Craig Russell come on the art, was just fantastic. It was just great to see all his inventive stuff, and his colorist Laverne Kinderzinski is perfect. And so that team up is just incredible to watch.
Amazing. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, there's something to his work it just works for me more and more that I see these days. The older he feels like he's maybe one of those artists that the older you get, the even more you appreciate them. He's always impressed, but this series has been outstanding. And then reading that Sandman series that I found recently, the Dream Hunters there, seeing him there, just kind of revisiting a lot of his stuff has been amazing, really amazing.
Yeah. And I think he's focused in over, like, I remember when he started in, or for me, started in doing Killraven.
Right.
And it was very Baroque. He
Yes.
still got what makes him special, but he kind of shed some of that extra stuff along the way. And it almost, well, at least to us old guys, I think it almost makes it better,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I remember loving his work on Killraven. And then, of course, all the different things he did over the years.
Right.
But it's really, yeah, he must be at least 10 years older than me, I'm thinking.
I think so as well. Yeah.
He's still, some creative people go off on seemingly wrong directions, but he seems to stay on the right direction.
Yeah, no, totally.
Great way.
Yeah.
So I hope he has another project lined up coming out soon.
I hope so as well, because I mean, that's every single time that comes out, that's easily one of the top reads for me that week. It's the one that I get to as soon as possible. Hello, too. Rasa, because I just loved it so much. I realized yesterday, though, I'm still missing just the 1 issue from this last one, number 4. So I've got to get on that to make sure it's complete.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope I can find some time to go back and just reread it all, because I think I'll savor it more.
Yeah, I agree.
Altogether,
I think that'll be fun. Yeah, exactly.
But it was a great monthly read too, because you could read it in little chunks.
Yeah.
Hey, Travis. Last I knew, Travis was in South Dakota. I'm not sure where he is now.
Oh, okay.
On the Bueller bus.
He's on the Bueller bus watching us.
Yes.
So how are you doing? It's been a while since we've chatted. What's going on?
Good. We went to that Lost Lake last week.
Yep.
So a lot of I mostly paddled in kayak because my back is still not totally recovered.
Yep.
So I didn't do the paddle boarding, but other people did, and it was really nice. And my daughter and I stayed up really late so that we could see the stars.
Amazing.
You probably have that in your camping trip too.
Yep.
We just don't normally see most of the stars.
That's right. Yeah.
And we both love astronomy, so that was real exciting.
And that's excellent.
We're actually going to do another vacation later where we go visit a observatory.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. And
out in
where is that? Is that close
it's
to you?
Lapine, Oregon. It's somewhere in the center of the state.
Oh, wow.
My wife has figured out all the logistics, so I haven't really looked at the map yet.
That's amazing. That'll be an absolute blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only have I got my daughter to like comics, I got her to like astronomy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there
Although
you go.
she's overtaken me on astronomy. She now knows way more astronomy than I do.
Oh, really? Yeah. See,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I don't know a lot about it. Like, that's always one of the highlights, going and staying up late. The kids always love staying up late. And Lily's right at that prime age where if she can stay up till midnight, that's a special treat.
Right.
And see the stars and everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The next morning was a little hard when we stayed.
Yeah, yeah.
We woke up, but and then I have been reading a lot of comics, but I'm not sure what I have at hand.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just pull something out and give her, because I don't have a million to talk about. So,
well, my biggest delight and surprise, because I wasn't, is this book called My Most Secret Desire by Julie Doucette. And I wasn't that keen on My New York Story or whatever it was called by her, or New York Diary, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think I
that's
talked
right, yeah.
about it on an episode a month ago or something.
Yeah.
I loved her art, but I wasn't super excited by her autobiography stories. They were okay, but and I think partially that's maybe my age. My taste in autobiography is a little different than it would have been when I was younger. But what this is a dream diary. So it's kind of real life interacting with bizarre fantasies. And I found that extremely compelling, and combined with her really cool kind of underground art style. And these are pieces from different periods, so you see different versions of her art style too. But there's lots of short little pieces, and it's kind of like an underground feminist, or feminist may be the wrong word, but female Little Nemo in a way.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
So here's one where it says, "Oh la la, what a strange dream." And then in the dream, she's an astronaut and she's about to go on the rocket, and her mother comes by and she's brought her cookies, and she tells her the cookies are for masturbation.
Nice. Yeah.
And so that's what she does. She masturbates with the cookies in outer space.
Amazing. Barbarella to the next level.
I'm trying to see here. Like, I mean, what it made me think was I find a little bit of fantasy mixed into reality makes it more meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Or broadens the picture to something more significant than just my boyfriend broke up with me or something like that.
Right, right.
So another theme is she has a lot of dreams. I'm trying to find one where she becomes male.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting. I don't think I've had any dreams where I become female, or if I have, are very few and far between. But she seems to have a lot of these dreams becoming male, but I'm not finding them. Let's see. Oh, well, this one is the most extreme. This one is right up there with Robert Crumb and S. Clay Wilson. She becomes male and she basically rapes a woman. So,
oh, wow.
Her breasts. At least that was my interpretation of it. So I'm not sure what she's saying with that one. Most of the others where she becomes male are less intense. So in this one, she wakes up and has a gigantic penis with a screw-off top, and she can keep things inside of it. Let's see if I can get it close enough to the camera. So, or there she's riding it like a horsey. So she's kind of making fun of her ideas of what men do with their penises.
Ragamuffin, if you watch this in the future, there you go. There's your timestamp.
And in this one, there's a male and female self, one on each side of the mirror, and then they come through the mirror and do the hokey pokey. So, yeah, like I said, I'm kind of unprepared. So there's like a very different style there from a different time period, much more simplified, I guess.
Right. So is that what's the range for these stories? Were they collected from other places, or?
I didn't see if they're collected from other places. I'm assuming they are. It was published in 2006, but I think they're from the 90s, a spread over the 90s. So that,
Okay.
like, I suspect this is the later 90s look for her, and you know, that would be the early 90s look for her. But hey Earl, now I wonder what Doucette stories Earl Grey read first. And I'm wondering, with these two books that I've read, the New York stories and this one, if I read most of what is in Dirty Plot, or should I try to dig up Dirty Plot because there'll be more stuff in there. I think also, you know, as with this one, as I'm getting into the stories more, then I get into the art even more too. So her art is becoming kind of an addictive style to me.
Yeah, it's great.
I feel like there may be one or two other underground artists who use blacks so intensely, but it's amazing that she keeps it all under control, but throws so many different black areas into her pictures.
Yeah, it gives it a different energy for sure.
I think this is a book I want to own now. But I don't know. I'm assuming it's not in print. And that's a funny thing, you know, if she's like one of the most famous cartoonists in the world, one of 3 women to win the biggest award in the world, but I assume she's in print in France, I hope. But she's not in print here. Anyway, that's the general gist of it.
Yeah.
Have do you have issues of Dirty Plot?
I think I might have like one, because they're not the easiest to find. I knew about her stuff when I was coming up and reading all these things. But I mean, you know, especially at that time, funds were extremely limited as to what I could buy when I went to the shop. And I was so into like Klaus and Peter Bagg and stuff like that, that my focus and money was going towards that and rip-off press and things like that, right? So, but yeah, she was always around. I always remember her. And the one I talked about before, Naughty Bits, Roberta Gregory, same one. She was always in that kind of world, I guess, that bubble of indie artists at the time. So, but yeah, those Dirty Plot, those are very, very difficult. They're not easy to find, and they did get collected. I think Earl Grey will probably know. I'm pretty sure they had a big
there's
collection.
I don't know if it's like paperbacks inside a hardbound thing, but it's nearly $100 even with discounts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm undecided whether that's something I want to buy or not. Because if most of it is in these hardbacks, I might rather just look for the hardbacks.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, I was thrilled to hear you guys speak about it on Welcome to the Podcast. The fact that Dirty Plot was mentioned on Welcome to the Podcast, I thought was fantastic. Plot being the word that it is in French, of female genitals, basically.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. Earl is saying they're in the 2nd volume collected edition. Oh, and he's saying, I think the stuff Damien showed was in the 1st Dirty Plot. Okay.
Okay, so maybe if you get
plural,
the box set, if you get the box set, you get this, but in some other form.
Right.
Plus a
whole bunch of extras. Yeah, totally.
Unfortunately, the library doesn't have the box set because I'd like to look at that box set.
Yeah.
I don't want to. That's the problem with just ordering things online. You get this great discount, but then you don't really know what you're buying.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. So sort of keeping in that realm, one of the things I read last night was this 2-issue Full Throttle, which is from Aircell.
Oh, Aircell, right.
What I found out was that there was a few books at this time from Aircell that was reprinting Australian. The trouble with doing things outside here. Give me one sec. It's a collection of. There was a few books that were collections of Australian artists. These stories in here, they appeared in a biker magazine and in a trucker magazine. So these were characters that were created where they could just do these. Rip Snorter was the name of the biker So they could do these kind of, they add in these.
Would that be like
stories.
Outlaw Biker Magazine or something?
I'm guessing so. Yeah, that's what it definitely.
I used
feels
to
like.
look at that in the early 80s with fascination of like, is this lifestyle real?
Yeah, totally. So this one was from a magazine called Street Bike Magazine, and they were entertaining. They weren't, like this type of air cell is usually way more adult oriented. This one had some adult moments, but I wouldn't say it was like that at all. It was more kind of like an outlaw biker and this crazy trucker. They were, a couple of the trucker ones especially were more like gag strips. This first one is pure biker fantasy. He's running from the law on his motorcycle as he's trying to deliver this woman across the country, and it hints, it insinuates at like a drug deal and all sorts of things. It feels like it's a good part one to a continuing story, but I don't think it continued along this line. The art is pretty great.
It is nice art.
Yeah, it's not,
because some of that air cell art
raw.
you've shown was not too impressive.
No, it's pretty raw, and there's some stuff that I'm not crazy about whatsoever. But the one that was more entertaining was this raw tonnage, and these were very much in the vein of like kind of underground gag strips. Like there's one where he meets a woman in the bar, and she wants to have relations with him. She wants to get it on with him, and it ends up costing him $1,000. And at the end, he asks her if she knows so and so. And she says, yeah, he's my brother. He's like, yeah, he says yes. And there's the $1,000 that he owes you that I was sent to basically deliver. So, kind of, but some pretty good, entertaining enough. But again, that black and white art is really fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
And it was just these 2 issues. So there's the second one. And this is just continues the same thing. Just the collection of this one, I think is all, if I remember correctly, is all from the Trucker magazine. What do we got here? Hold on one sec.
Oh my God.
Back from the dead.
Look at this.
Hey, I'm trying my best here. I'm not even in the right room or whatever the fuck I am.
Right.
My self-awareness, I've really shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
And my voice is still fucked. So
yeah.
And I'm trying to recover, but it's so difficult. It seems to be, it hit us quite badly. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's making the rounds a little bit again. I've noticed in my circles as well, too. Yeah. I woke up this morning not feeling so good. Did a test, it came back negative, but I still feel it. I still feel a little rawness in my throat. So we'll see if that changes into anything by tomorrow. But so far, so good.
The thing is, I didn't test positive. My husband tested positive first. I tested on the same day he did, and I was negative. The next day, I started feeling really shit more, like really, like it wasn't great. And I tested positive straight away after that. So,
did they give you any special medicine?
No, nothing happens anymore. It's free for all.
So you just stay home and suffer through it. There's no
they recommend
medicine they offer you.
If you can't stay at home, they recommend you to stay home, just rest, and just take paracetamol, good old paracetamol. Which honestly, at some point, I was thinking I would not survive without that. Because I don't know what kind of symptoms other people have, but mine was, I was so like out of it, and I didn't have temperature, nothing. It's just like it clogs you up completely. And now the side effects after, I guess, because we're kind of starting to recover, but no taste.
Oh wow.
Nothing. I mean, I can taste some stuff, but I cannot kind of like you drink something and you're like, something is off. Or you eat something and there's one thing in the whole foods range you have, like for example today I probably first time kind of tasted chicken, kind of. But the day before, a couple of days before, it's like you eat orange and the only thing you taste is zest, but no flavor. Yeah. It's just that sharp flavor in your mouth, and you're like, And then like Great. Spicy. If I eat something spicy, it's just sharp, and there's nothing else. There's no heat, no nothing. It's just Whoa. It's just sharp, and you're like, am I eating anything at all?
Yeah. You got to get yourself in like a ghost pepper challenge now, because you won't be able to feel the heat.
To be honest, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, it's just it's a bizarre feeling, but you know,
Mhm.
thankfully, I mean, we're kind of like, as I say, I'm on the mend, but my head is so foggy and I get so tired quickly, like
Yeah.
literally exhausted for not doing anything.
Right.
And nap, and you want to nap like daily if I could.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking just like while you were like saying we're gonna chat, it's like I want to nap. What are you talking about? But then I start seeing you guys chatting, you know, like you get addicted to this. And I miss you guys for a while. I haven't
Yeah.
chatted with you. So I was
Yeah,
like,
it's been weeks.
let me try just to get in and see this phone. It's kind of bizarre feeling. Now I know, Terence, exactly how you feel. It's like, oh, I don't know what the hell is this. I don't
Yeah.
understand what's going on here.
I mean, it's worth it for the trade-off of things on my end anyway. It feels like it's
Yeah.
much smoother than it ever was on my laptop. So now that I've
Mm.
got the tripod set up, and
Yeah.
it's much easier. I kind of like it. It's difficult, but I don't know. The trade-off is good. Do you have
Mhm.
anything that you've read you want to chat about while you're here? I know you said
Oh,
you didn't read a ton this week, but
yeah.
yeah,
So,
go for it.
well, I don't know. The first thing I read, so one or try to, I guess I always wanted to have something. Well, now my face, I can just only see my friends, which is like, oh. I read digital finally the full version of the Incal, not full version, but the first volume.
Oh, nice.
What I'm trying to say. So the first time, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I can show you. And also, I started reading Book of Magic, the old version.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
By Neil Gaiman.
Uh-huh.
Oh wait, I'm gonna try. I'm holding two things. So this is the there you go.
Oh, nice.
So this is the old John Bolton, Scott Hampton, and Charles Vess and
Yeah.
Paul Johnson. Yeah, so far it's very intriguing. It's very Harry Potterish, even though there's this four like trench coat brigade. You know, like that's what you read, Terence, before.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So they
Did it come out before Harry Potter or after?
I'm not sure. Wait, let me scroll a couple of pages. How do you scroll pages?
When did Harry Potter start coming out? Around 98 or something?
93.
Oh, really? That early? Oh, I thought it was much later. I was
Yeah,
only
so-
aware of it by like 1999 or something.
No, I think
Yeah.
she's talking this book came out in
Oh,
93.
the book is 93.
Yeah, sorry.
So it came
sorry,
out
yeah.
before Harry Potter, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So there you go. There maybe tells you a tale. So it's
Uh-huh.
it's very interesting the way. Wait, I'm gonna the art style. Oh my god! I can't do this. It's impossible. Two hands. I
Yeah,
need
no,
two
it's
hands.
difficult. Yeah, yeah.
So that's the art style, which is actually really nice.
Really nice.
I really enjoyed it. At
That
first,
that must be Bolton there, no?
yes, because it's realistic slash art style, and that's and all those four freaky guys who's basically deciding the future of this kid. If he's
Right.
going to be is it worth it to introduce him to magic? Because apparently this is the guy who is can be like the best magician ever. And of course, Constantine is a dickhead as always. In a couple of pages, he's like,
As he should be.
yeah, it's like, why we even bother? You know, is it really worth our time and all that stuff like that? So yeah, that was something. But yeah, in Cal, it's the first. How do you see? I sometimes get this digital stuff, but I never know how to find what I've read. It does not show me. Sorry. So anyway,
Right.
so in Cal is the Black in Cal Volume 1. I read on digital format. So thoroughly throughout first episode, like proper full story, like whatever it was there. And I was so intrigued. I was like, for the first time, I actually given it time, even though I was kind of like, you know, like not really myself. And when I'm reading when you're ill, it's kind of weird experience.
Yeah, totally.
Because you like emotional stuff as well happens as well. So, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to read more, but now it seems to be quite difficult to get hold of anything in paper. So I'm gonna have to do digital route because since anything talking about in Cal or something can appear.
There is the black and white volume that came out. I mean, you know, obviously it's black and white, but that's the newest thing. So that might be, easier to get than anything else, you know. That might be something to look for. It's nice. It's a little bit bigger as well too than my Inkall hardcover that I have as well. So a little bit taller, I think. So it's nice to see it that bigger format as well. So and I really hope that I'm really hopeful that Taika Waititi, is that how you say his name? I really hope that he has success with doing the movie, working with Jodorowsky as he is. I really hope that comes to fruition and it actually happens, because I would love to see a big screen interpretation of that book. Would be fun, I think.
It's very bizarre, especially with that bird who's like next to him.
Yeah.
And then of course you see the Meta Baron, the main guy who's chasing. Is gonna, like, that's how it ended. Like he's just flying to basically find this douchebag who is like, is it worth my time? Really? You know, like he even himself, the Eiffel, whatever his name is, he says like, I'm just like, you know, detective. Why you want me? What's going on there? And all this beautiful, just like, you know, in digital, you go panel by panel. It's so nice to watch Mobius slide details, and you're like, so it looks so easy to scribble. It's just a scribbles, but it's just so beautiful. How do you come up with those scribbles, man? But then you realize years of work, you know, and how much like stuff you have to do in order to basically do scribbles after that, so you don't have to be bothered by anything else. So
Mobius and Jack Kirby are both like that. Like you look at them and at first you think, oh, I can do that, but then you try and it's not so easy.
I'm hopeful. The other thing you were saying, Meta Baron as well too, that I'm wondering if that's the plan, if the Inkall movie does happen, and if it's successful. Again, there's a whole other world they can dig into. That would be fantastic.
Well, Meta Barons, it's a lot of the following behind them anyway. But the story, I mean, there's lots of people who read it and thoroughly enjoyed it. So I guess I read it and I loved it. But it's just so bizarre, and there's lots of things I don't know if we're gonna see on a telly anymore, to be honest, or on cinema stages, because stages these days, like people are talking a lot of, you know, like reverting back to what the freedom used to be, maybe, which never happened, actually not being free in generally. So I don't know if that bizarreness can be even put in a cinema screen, to be honest.
And that's the biggest concern, right? That if they do it, it's going to have to be watered down. Even the Inkall, they'll have to water it down and kind of change it a bit. But like I said, because he's working with Jodorowsky, that's what gives me hope that, you know, there might be at least, it's sort of the story, hopefully, is coming from him as well, to making it a real collaboration, you know, to kind of stay true to the vision somewhat.
Exactly. And especially if they, you know, some countries can ban, you know, you're not going to be there watching it. But if you actually go true to this, what it is, the product itself is, which is so much deeper, and intent was there for a reason. You know, sometimes when you start chopping the story, even though to make it better, it's not always translates the same way at the end of it. So it's the reasons why they're doing that, or what they wanted to portray. So it's an important part. So
just on a quick sideline here, and then Damien, if you have something else, but we went to see Thor. Not going to talk about the movie whatsoever, but the thing that was interesting in the theater was that there was this new thing called Studio X. So we were sitting in the theater, and you see the screen in front of you. And then at certain points in the trailers, all of a sudden there was projections on the side walls of the theater as well. So you could see, it was almost like taking that wide IMAX and then projecting some of it on the side walls. So they had a trailer for Bullet Train where the side walls turned on, and it was incredible, because I mean, that movie looks fantastic already. So at various points through Thor, they had the side walls, so you can really feel like you're in, and it's that sort of planetarium feel where you do feel like the building is moving because it's on the side. Like, it really immersed you even more, and it really was apparent that, like, man, these cinemas, they are really grasping to try to get audiences, because when we went to see Thor, there was maybe 10 of us there in the theater. You know what I mean? So they're really trying anything to get people to come to the theaters. But that said, it was such a neat experience, and it didn't play like that through the entire movie. It was just at certain moments, all of a sudden, the projection would come on the sides. But it was super cool. I really hope that they keep that kind of thing going, because I think you could really play with that, and it would be a real blast.
Yeah, theaters keep going at all, but
exactly.
Eventually things need to return to normal, I suppose.
I really wanted to go, but like now it's just like being in this little like house in comparison to outside world, because we try to, you know, stay away as much as possible, even though they're honestly the rules are so nothing in existence, to be honest. No wonder why they have so many people getting sick in this country in particular. Like, we had to take my son for the last 2 days of his preschool, even though there was a heat wave, we didn't take him. And I was really worried. It's like, we are really ill. I mean, I'm not sure if I can take. Preschool was offering us to take him away from us, just to take him to preschool. But we managed to those last couple of days, and I was like sobbing my eyes out to take him away from the preschool. And the teachers was like sobbing as well. It's like, oh, thank you very much, guys. You're like, I'm feeling really shit. I'm feeling it worse. But we had to, you know, the occasion, you know, like, so this kind of thing. You know, it's another milestone, let's say this way, for us as a family. And for me, it's I know exactly how my mom was. I was like, why my mom is always sobbing her eyes out. I know. I'm doing the same crap.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. It's just a preschool, you know, like, it's just nothing. But the teachers, they were fantastic, and they absolutely loved them. So you know, so it's just like that kind of thing for him, even though he's like, oh, I don't care about you people, it's just me. I'm more important than anything else. But yeah, teachers love them. So he's
that's great. That's fantastic.
He's a gentle lad. He's crazy, but he's extremely gentle. He's very affectionate as well. So gives you affections, which is quite nice.
Ironic that at one point they didn't want to take him, and now they miss him.
It's a bizarre feeling, but I know there's a lot of reasoning. I understand now, because when you get into the motion of taking a child into school education, is that realize how communication is vital, because nobody is aware of who you are, where you're from, and what your home situation is.
100%. Yep.
And we had to basically, they were willing to just have a talk, and realizing just small little background details, how you go through my education, and how we perceive education generally. They were, oh, you know, you realize that, and suddenly we talking, and we starting to understand each other, and they starting to support my child even furthermore. But it's a very vital part. Which I'm kind of dreading now for him going back to school. But he's going to go to school now for New Year. But we'll see anyway.
They'll love him soon enough, I'm sure.
I hope so. How we're going to win all the hearts of everybody, and I don't have to worry about anything else.
Bring the teachers lots of treats the first couple of weeks. We were just made some of the, have some cookies, and then they'll, buy their love first, and then they'll naturally just realize.
Yeah, I probably will have to do that anyway. So, because it seems to be some of us are trying their hardest, it becomes like a competition. Even though in preschool, like, people were bringing stuff to teachers to say thank you, and we did want to do that. Get me wrong, we're not assholes, but we were fucking sick. We were just staying away from everybody, like miles away, just because we wanted just to see that moment when he leaves the preschool for the last moment. And we just left like as soon as possible. Didn't interact with everybody. Was looking at us like weirdly, but we just didn't want to interact. We just ran away, because we're not an asshole, so we don't want other people to get ill, we just wanted my child to get whatever he's possibly can get, so even though I didn't want to take him, and the teacher said, no, don't worry, just take. We need to see him for the last couple of days, please. Begged me to take him to preschool.
Well, there you go. That's pretty nice.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was weird experience. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Damien, what else do you got there? What else did you read?
Yeah, I don't know if on your phone you can find my little screen share.
Let's see. Oh, as a matter of fact, I can. Give me 1 sec.
There you go. Sophistication.
And, there we go. Yeah.
So this is kind of a weird thing that I feel like maybe is one of those things no one knows about that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mini series about a character named Batlash from DC, who I know nothing about him in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a Walt Simonson cover, which is okay, but the interior art, and I don't know how well it's going to show. You're on your phones and everything, and I'm showing an iPad, but the interior art is by John Severin at age 86.
Oh, wow.
And it's really, really detailed and beautiful. And, he was known for doing Westerns and military comics. And so I don't know if they brought him out of retirement or something, but because I just checked, he died 4 years later at age 90.
Wow.
So he was 86 when he did this. And I think it's 4 or 5 issues. I've only read 3 issues so far, and I only have the digital version, but I'm going to look for the physical. So it's just this beautifully, beautifully rendered John Severin Western. I think maybe in part because he may have had time to spend on it, you know. But every panel is really, really beautiful. I think it may be, let me double check, it may be colored by Laverne Konerski again. No, the colorist is Steve Buccicello. But anyway, he's good colors too, and it's very nicely colored. But it's kind of an origin story, I guess. So I don't know how Batlash turns out, but he's this very earnest guy who's in love with a girl who's the daughter of the evil rancher who wants to own everything and who has the sheriff in his pocket and has promised his daughter to the sheriff. And it's very tense and intense, which is why I haven't read all the issues yet, because I'll read an issue and I'll go, phew, that was intense. I need to take a break. And the scriptwriter is Sergio Aragonés along with someone else. But there's absolutely no comedy or anything in here.
Really? Hey, that's surprising.
But it's very intense, very tightly written, but the real highlight is this is like peak John Severin, but he was 86 when he did it. And you don't hear, I just sort of stumbled across it by accident. I've never really heard anything about this. I think they must have thought people didn't know who John Severin was anymore. So it's probably just something they did because they wanted to do it. I'm guessing, the editors or something. But just to be safe, let's put Walt Simonson covers on it. But Walt Simonson's a great artist, but for Westerns, I don't think he's the right person. But so anyway, that was kind of one of my exciting reads of the last few weeks.
That's cool.
I feel like I say it every time you guys show the digital, but I love the being able to go panel to panel.
Yeah,
it's really great.
Well, with the really good art, it is a nice thing to do. And and I rave about the coloring. Maybe I wouldn't when it's on the page.
Right,
Maybe that's the effect too.
And just that idea of it really unveiling itself. So those page turns that they plan out have even more of an impact going panel to panel.
Right.
You can't scan the page. You're seeing it presented,
Yeah.
This really sometimes puts 2 panels at a time, but this is the DC app, which I recently resubscribed to, just because I thought there was a lot of Legion of Superheroes stuff that me and my daughter could read.
Yes.
But the bonus was finding other things.
Cool.
So anyway, and it's a really well-written comic. It's not like I think of those old Marvel comics where the guy comes into town and there's a big shootout, and if Jack Kirby's drawing it, it'll look really cool and everything. But this is a very intense story, and within a melodramatic comic book setting, it kind of deals with a lot of issues about the Wild West and stuff. The relationship between ranchers and the law and Indians too. To a degree, it doesn't focus on the Indians too much. Whoops. The DC app is not as good as the Marvel app in terms of utility.
Yeah, it's very kind of like sometimes it just doesn't load up, and you have to reset the app, and it
can crash. And
really? Hey.
Yeah.
But that is beautiful coloring there, beautiful rendering. So I got to imagine I can find these in 50-cent or dollar bins.
Yeah, it's got to be. Hey, yeah.
But it's something I just would alert people to keep an eye out for, because from the cover, like I said, the covers just are kind of meh.
Yeah.
I'll go to the cover again so you just sort of see an okay picture.
Yeah.
But then you let's see. Anyway, so I think it's 4 or 5 issues, and it's well worth reading,
right?
Especially if you like Westerns. But I'm not as big a Western guy as you guys, but I really love this one.
Look at that. Western/romance cover. Got everything going on there.
Yeah, and it actually has sex. I mean, not graphically portrayed,
Yikes.
but it's clear. It's clear that he has sex with this girl down by the
Right.
river, and the sheriff sees them having it, and now the sheriff is going to rape her because
Right,
she's
right.
dirty material now.
Hmm.
So it's pretty loaded material.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There you go.
Very cool.
Do you have more stuff, Terrence?
I do, yes. How do I... Sorry. Here we
The
go.
other thing I was going to bring up was Shaolin Cowboy. Have you read that?
I sure did. I don't know how we do this here. Hold on a sec. There we go. Okay, that did it. Yeah, I did read the newest Shaolin Cowboy. Rasa, did you read it?
No.
Not yet. Okay, well, we'll save it then. Did you
Yeah.
read the number 2? Have you caught up with number 2 yet?
Not even that one. I got that's the weekend when you left for the camping.
Yep.
And I received the 2 days later, and then things just rolled into like a whole commotion. The thing
Right.
my husband got into an accident as well.
Oh,
so that was
bummer.
lovely.
Oh no.
Yeah, that week was
Jesus.
just beautiful. And now yeah, it wasn't a big accident, thankfully. Everybody was, my husband was fine. But commotions with being in accident, and they started trying to tell us that maybe writing off the car because it's not worth the value of fixing it. So
Right.
Oh, that old thing.
so that old shabacle as well, and that on the back of the head. So I didn't really read any singles. I had a couple of I have a couple more to talk about. So
yeah. One that I read the other night, which was pretty fun, was Secret Origins, starring Phantom Stranger.
nice.
So it's it feels like, so I think the first story is the actual kind of origin of Phantom Stranger, and then I think there's some other versions of it taking that idea. And I don't know if we've talked about it before, but the origins of Phantom. So this one is Mike W. Barr writing, Jim Aparo artist, and Tom Zuico colorist. So this one talks about his time back in biblical times, where these soldiers come searching for what turns out to be Jesus, and ends up killing this guy's family because they're looking for him, and they were killing babies. They knew that the son of Christ was coming, so they were going around killing babies. So his son and wife get killed, and finally, when he realizes that it's Jesus, he bribes one of the guards that's set to whip him, so he can whip him, and kind of take out his rage on Jesus as Jesus is tied to the cross. So it was kind of shocking how intense it was, that this was now his chance for revenge on Jesus.
And does that still have a Comics Code Authority?
This one sure does. Yeah, it absolutely does.
I'm surprised that going into religion like that was allowed.
So I think why it would have passed is because eventually, of course, he sees the error of his ways, and he goes to a priest to get redemption, because he's now cursed with being this stranger that just walks through time. And of course, the priest doesn't believe him until all of a sudden in the church, there's flame writing that appears. "Stranger, I've heard your words," as he's kind of delivering this confession. So he sort of gets, "Pleased you've learned from your years of wandering," but he's still kind of, I think he...
So is that God talking to him?
Exactly. "And you are hereby released from your sentence of eternal life." So this story kind of releases him from his duties of becoming the stranger. Hello, Andrew Lopez. And then we get a few other ones. So Paul Levitz and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez tell this other one, "And Men Shall Call Him Stranger." And it's okay as well. But the other one that kind of was fun, this one was pretty good too, Revelations. So there's 4 stories in this altogether.
And they were all about the Phantom Stranger?
That's right, yeah. And this third story is Dan Mishkin and Early Colin doing penciling. And I loved the style on this one. It's very distinct from the other ones.
I'm a big Ernie Colin fan.
Yeah, that face there is incredible. So it has sort of like an EC Comics kind of vibe to some of the styles, but it's a really interesting mix of stuff going on in this story visually. Again, that first one was probably the standout story from the book.
Right.
These ones are great. This one takes place in outer space, and they're trying to go through a different dimension to kind of go back to the Big Bang so they can harness some of that energy. But there's someone on board who wants to stop the creation of the universe, basically. So some pretty heavy kind of concepts. And the Phantom Stranger, kind of touches fingers with somebody on the ship and kind of transfers his essence into this guy, who then goes out to, actually, now that I'm speaking about it, this one is kind of fun. It really feels in place with like 70s kind of stoner type of comics, because he now goes through the dimension and is there at the creation and becomes this ball of energy and becomes one with the universe. And actually,
Oh wow,
it's incredibly 70s going. So then you have these last couple of panels here as he's
that's
kind
nice
of
coloring for a
realizing
comic
it's
back then.
it's really nice, man.
Yeah.
And the final one, the surprise on the final one, is an Alan Moore script with art by
Ooh.
Joe Orlando. So it's sort of takes place in the New York subways with these guardian angel group who are there to kind of protect people that are just kind of going onto the subway to help them from crime. There's a group of them that want to break off and live in the sewers and start their own world and start their own kind of collective, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, and trying to get people to join them. So he matches that with a biblical story. This is Etrigan here, talking to different angels to come down to meet Satan, and kind of want to let's skip this bullshit up here and let's go down and meet with Satan and start a new group and be his angels. So it's kind of, you get one page, quote unquote, current, and then one page that's this biblical, again, this angels and devils kind of theme. But one of the things that was amazing was this older art here, or this more angelic biblical art is amazing. And when you get to the panel with the devil, really impressive art. I really like the looks of it. So yeah, it was a fun book.
What number Secret Origin is that? Because I'm going to make sure to get
this.
That.
Is number 10.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So this was one that I found in the dollar bins, and I know I've seen it out there before. It's just I didn't really have that much of an interest at the time of digging into Phantom Stranger, but I'm really glad I picked this one up. This was a pretty fun read overall. And but like I said, that first story really surprised me at where it was going as it was starting to unfold. It's like, wait a second, this is a DC comic? What?
Yeah, I mean, I've read a few of those Secret Origin ones and was kind of underwhelmed. So I think I would have just passed right by that now that I know what's in it.
Yeah.
Because they're definitely often in the dollar bins.
Yeah. A lot of those are for sure, yeah. Russell,
although maybe if it has Alan Moore in it, maybe that ups the price. I don't know.
It might, but I doubt it, because I feel like it's one of those that, like you said, everybody just passes over. Nobody really digs into it at all. So
yeah.
Rasa, do you have anything for us?
Okay. Almost.
You're falling asleep?
Yeah, kind of. I just my mind.
Oh, that's a cool cover.
Yeah, so
it's an amazing cover. Yeah.
Outburst. It's by Peter Caudizer. I don't know. Caudizer. I don't know. I'm butchering his name.
Yeah.
So it's a story about a nerd who is bullied in a classroom. And though your typical glasses, almost Harry Potterish kind of style of character. And he's, of course, he's going through like / teenage years. But the way the book starts is actually show us like what would actually happen, because the coppers are after him because they think that he murdered somebody. But anyway, so that's our main character here. Oh, there you go. So all in red, and of course glasses, which doesn't help kids in the school, because they tell you that you are, like you're gonna be having like bullying issues. So he goes through the school time, and he's showing to us here, but his fascination about nature and trees and generally. And by odd coincidence or chance, he gets this condition where he's turning into tree. You guys can still hear me, yes?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
totally hear
sorry,
you.
I
Yeah.
muted myself.
It's like so quiet. It's like, oh my god, what happened? Because I'm on the phone, I'm not sure exactly what's
I
happening
was
around
getting
me.
something
So,
to drink, so I muted myself.
yeah. So anyway, so he's turning into tree. So it's this condition, and I'm trying to show you basically. There's a couple of panels in here where they, I don't know, you can see it hopefully.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, very nice.
and then so he's already having issues with his childhood, and now he's gonna even have issues with his like adulthood because of his condition. So this is quite a depressing story, and the way it goes, it has this graphic scenes where he's basically have to take a shower. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
So that's his condition where the limbs are
Quite
turning.
a set of roots he's got there.
I know, right? And then the way he has to protect them or be more presentable is put the plastic bags on his hands, so people won't feel like too weird about it, kind of thing. So he's already going through shit, and people don't help him either with that kind of stuff. So he's basically afterwards we follow him into work, like they found a work for him, and the way the job was found for him is like, oh, you don't worry, you don't need any special abilities, even though I don't know why people care about you and your problems you are with. You just be inside this warehouse to protect the things around them, and just call somebody in order to something happens or somebody's trying to steal them. So basically he's just a guard going to be. So it's kind of depressing, but it's actually an interesting tale, and the way it ends of him just lying in the bed and the coppers are after him. Why are they coming after him? I'm not going to tell, because it's kind of will be a telltale sign of the book. But it's been, I think it's been published 2015, this book, but it's really interesting. It's quite dark. It's really melancholic. But I really enjoyed it, and I really liked the art style. So in generally, the story was very enjoyable. So yeah, not bad choice, even though I would say mood-wise, if you're quite not in the mood, I would not recommend it at all because it's quite moody in generally, because and also bullying and all that stuff, the kids struggling without not only being themselves and then have to deal with something else coming out after it.
Right.
So yeah, very cool. But
who's the publisher on that one?
Self-Made Hero.
Oh yeah, okay. You've shown something from them before, I think, right?
Yes, quite a few. And another book I read from them as well is from Self-Made Hero, which I can talk when I have a chance.
Yeah.
So it's been that publisher is becoming more and more intriguing to me, because they have all those creators who's not afraid to show whatever they want to, as it seems to be, and also not somebody you heard as well. So you can really explore and see what other people can have ideas of comic book. So very good.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Looks great. Damien.
Well, I'll just talk about some of the regular comics I've managed to read so far.
Yeah.
Let's do my screen share again, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Stand by.
Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I spoil Black Adam a little bit?
I'm fine with it. Yeah,
I was curious to see what it's all about. Anyway, you were talking to us about this issue 1, I think.
Did I?
remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think so.
And I liked issue 2 even more. I was sort of like, there's something interesting about issue 1. It could be good, and so far it's looking good. But with all the mainstream things can always go wrong.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'm gonna keep up. It's a 12-issue miniseries. I think I'll keep going with it for now. And it's written by Christopher Priest, who's become kind of a more radical writer. It feels to me. So, one thing he does things that you don't quite understand, and he does little, almost like black. This is like his signature thing now. A little black panel with a chapter title or something in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I still haven't fully figured out what this page is showing, because it seems like this same boy in different places, like in a ghetto or a slave, or I don't know, maybe in some kind of Islamic situation setting. But I think maybe it's Black Adam himself. Or no, I'm wrong. It's the ghost of someone Black Adam killed, we find out later.
Oh.
So Black Adam has been alive, since ancient times. And he was supposed to be the new Shazam, Captain Marvel, or not the new one, the old one. And then he became evil, and Shazam had to go find another person, meaning Billy Batson. And I'm not sure what his place is currently in DC Comics, but he seems to be the ruler of a small Middle Eastern country.
Oh.
So you know how comics always have these small Eastern European countries? I guess now they're doing it with the Middle East too. So he's kind of like Dr. Doom or something, but he thinks he's all noble, and the U.S. is evil. But so essentially we get a flashback to this. I think this kid was his nephew who gave him his powers, which is also new, because originally his powers came directly from the wizard Shazam. So, but so we've got all kinds of kind of interesting, it's almost like the Phantom Stranger or something. He's being haunted by the ghost of this kid that perhaps he killed or betrayed. I'm not quite sure. But now he's got this kind of cancer or something that Darkseid gave him. Ooh. And he's scoured the world for heirs, people who are part of his bloodline, which, since he's been around for thousands of years, I imagine there's a lot. But the person they found is this young medical student. I'm trying to remember his first name. His last name is White, which is a common name for African Americans.
Yeah.
Last name.
Yeah.
And a common last name in general here in the U.S. And maybe in England. I don't know.
It probably is.
But so anyway, he passes his power on to this kid. So this is my big spoiler for anyone who wants, not to be spoiled. The kid becomes White Adam. And so I'm thinking, how there's Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. and all those. Yeah. I'm thinking they're exploring the idea of maybe having an Adam family.
Oh, so they're gonna go clash
maybe it can
two
be
families
colors.
Together?
Maybe there can be a red Adam and a white Adam and a. Now, if it weren't a black man writing this, people might be a little upset in the current political thing. But I think it's just kind of a goof on. He looks a bit shocked that he's White Adam. But so anyway, it's got me very intrigued. It's I feel like and the art's very good too. I forgot who the artist is though, Sandoval. But I feel like Christopher Priest, sometimes he's too erudite for me, but I feel like here he's playing with the little DC mythos and also racial issues and some other things in interesting ways. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Oh, and there's their tribute to Neil Adams.
Yeah, nice.
I see.
That's great.
Very good.
Yeah, Andrew, I was thinking maybe they would copy the Lantern Corps, although it might just be one hero per color.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. The weird thing about this Neil Adams tribute, I haven't read the whole thing. It's kind of nice. Like, it has a nice quote about Neil Adams and then a picture back and forth.
Yeah.
But this art seems very mediocre to use.
It really does, yeah.
For Neil Adams tribute.
Yeah.
But
it's weird they wouldn't inject some of his art in those panels.
True. Yeah. Or like ask some really good artist who was a fan of his, like Sinkovich or someone to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's nice that they did a double page tribute to them. Or triple page. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Oh, and it's written by Tom King, art by Josh Adams. Oh, okay. So I shouldn't put it down. It's his son.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh,
okay. Well, that makes sense.
Now I feel really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
His son.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm terrible.
That's hilarious.
Don't worry,
Oh, that's-
we'll edit this part out. Don't worry.
Yes, hopefully
Yeah.
Josh had it. I'm sorry, Josh.
Shh, people don't listen. This is
Does
just
Josh Adams normally do comics? I'm not familiar.
I didn't even know that
No
the
idea.
son is drawing or even.
Yeah, he probably does commercial art or something. I mean, he certainly looks like a perfectly good artist, but just not sort of at
Not like his
father's
daddy.
What you'd expect. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
level. This last picture is a little better, but anyway, that's nice. The guy at the comic book store pointed out to me that the George Perez tribute came out first, and then I realized, oh, they were able to plan that in advance
Right.
because they knew George Perez was going to die, so they probably had something all set to go as soon as he died.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas they would have had to organize. It's a little weird to have Tom King do a Neil Adams tribute. Tom King never worked with Neil Adams, but he's, I guess, the star writer. So
I was gonna say, yeah, he's the hot writer at the moment, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That looks pretty good. I like that cover on there as well too. Thought that
Yeah,
was
this
great.
is a very nice cover.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you said 12 issue run? Is that what you
The
said?
12 issue run. So,
Yeah.
you know, for someone like you, maybe it's something to keep an eye out once it makes it to the cheap boxes or something.
Yeah, totally.
The priest. He's written Green Lanterns as well, didn't he? Or was he?
I
think-
don't
I-
know.
I
He was
recall-
doing what's his name? Not Deadshot. Who's it? Death something, the Terminator.
Uh-huh.
Their big villain from the Teen Titans. He did a solo
Right.
book on him.
Deathlock or something?
Deathlock is
Oh, that's not
Marvel.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's too
it's
many
Marvel.
people with
No
death
idea.
in the name.
Too many
but
deaths. Yeah.
He did that, and then he's doing Vampirilla, which I was reading
wow.
for a while, and after a while, I just couldn't understand what was going on.
Right.
It seemed very interesting, like he was playing with something, but couldn't understand what was going on.
Uh-huh. Oh.
I think a long time ago, he may have done a well-regarded Black Panther series.
Right, right.
And he was Jim Owsley back in the 80s. So you
Oh,
see
okay.
a lot of Jim Owsley. Like he took over Conan writing for a while.
Right.
And I think he was like Jim Shooter's right-hand man in the editorial staff for a while.
Mhm.
That was when he was very young.
Mhm. Oh.
And then he changed his name to Christopher Priest, which is still something I don't quite understand.
Are you back there, Rasa? There you are. You're here.
Can we hear her?
You're muted. Yeah,
Maybe
no, we
came
can't
back
hear
in
you.
muted.
Yeah, no, your audio's not there.
She's telling hilarious jokes.
You're right.
We'll
I think
never
she's
know.
saying she'll be right back. Yeah. So from one of the again from the glorious world of dollar bins, another thing I read this week that was a hell of a lot more fun than I expected it to be. Number 3 of the saga of Elf Face.
That name just makes me crack up.
It's a ridiculous name, but I mean the cover. Oh, here she is. One sec here. To stream.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
You're back at just in time for Elf Face.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool.
So it was a lot more fun than I thought it would be, and it was mostly due to just the ridiculously incredible art on this thing. There's
I
always
assumed it was done knowing what they were doing.
well, I don't think so. I think
Oh, okay.
I
They
think
thought it
this
was
is-
good.
the thing is like like I think I've talked about before, there's the modern kind of era of sort of trying to mimic a certain style, and then there's this era which is just legitimately like, this is 1986, so right in that sweet spot where this is them doing the best that they can, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's amazing, and again, because of that time period, there was just so many opportunities for people.
I guess
can I
that
tell
was
you
the
what the
black and white
story-
explosion?
Exactly right. Can I tell you what the story was? I can't
Yes.
remember at all, nor does it matter. But I mean, it's things like this, these panels. Like I just eat this stuff up because it's so bizarre. There's a good 2-page spread with like, I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not like, this perspective is so odd, but it was really entertaining to read it. And there was a couple of moments like where they were trying to, and it almost feels like it changes styles throughout it too, different kind of mediums that are being used. But I mean, just someone really, I really feel like this is someone just giving it their best, and they really want to create this character, and they really want to start this comics company. Because when I looked on my comic shop on Lone Star, this was the only thing listed that had ever been published from that company. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. I haven't dug any deeper
Lone
than
Star
that,
is
but
good, but
Lone
not
Star is
always
pretty good, yeah. But there may be a couple of other titles. And it's broken up into chapters, and each of the chapters begins with him kind of sitting on the roof, having a smoke, just kind of telling you a little bit. So here I was. This is what I was doing. And then we get into the next part of the story. And him trying to, there's a good scene here. There was a nuclear war, basically, that came up. And I mean, a page like this, again, is just outstanding. So he's telling this story, sort of his origin, and he's trying to reach out to communicate. And they're trying this kind of telepathic link, which leads to this fantastic page as well, too, where by the end of it, the only thing they can say is, wow. Which I just got such a kick out of it. So it was fun. And then we get, by the same artist, something a little bit in a different style called Rick Trigger, which is a part 1, I think, of what was going to be a continuing story.
I
think the series only went 3 issues. And this style, this one was pretty great. It's basically a fight scene, but I found like, I feel like if you know MF Doom, he had that Mad Villain. It really feels like that kind of motion in this. There was a video that they did was a takeoff on like Marvel Comics, the old style Marvel Comics animation, where it was basically just frames that were moved around. But there's some real nice animation here and nice movement. That I do, again, it's stuff like this where this is someone who knew some of the language for sure, but I don't know if they went any further. And it is pretty great. So this was a total blast. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find issues 1 and 2, but this was a nice one of the things that I live for.
Issue 3.
That's issue 3, yeah.
But Lone Star only shows there being in issue 3.
Lone Star shows they have all 3 issues.
Oh, Lone Star shows that's the only
have,
comic there.
From what is it? Exeter Entrance Studios. So I mean, we'll see. Maybe there's other stuff. They have another one. I have a cart together because I always have a cart stocked on Lone Star, and I just never hit checkout. So they had one of the other issues. I think issue number 2. So I have that in my cart, and we'll see if I end up grabbing another stack from them. But it was a really nice surprise. Again, especially at the end of the night when I'm trying to like decompress from work, something like this is really fantastic. Just to sit and just kind of have a good laugh and just enjoy it. Not a laugh at it, but a laugh with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really nice to experience.
It reminds me of stuff, in the 70s, I would order these fanzines as a kid that were strip zines, like amateur fans just making their own comic strips. And it reminds me of that stuff, but those would never those would be like an 8-page comic at the best. So this is a more sustained version of that.
Yeah, and they were going for it because at the end of this one, he's asking for letters and tell me what you think of the character. And because we have a lot of plans, the usual 1986 dialogue of like, we've got plans and we've got ideas. And then they absolutely went nowhere because everything blew up and, totally crashed.
I think that's why I like that Michael Fife comic. It feels like one of those fanzines that just goes on forever.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gone back to self-publishing now, right? The Image, he's no more with Image.
I'm subscribing to him through Etsy.
Oh, you are? Nice.
And so the issues come out every now and then. It's not as frequent, I think, as it once was.
Right.
I have a feeling he's doing other projects too.
Yeah. Russa, did you see any of the announcements for the next phase of Marvel, especially the Disney Plus shows? Oh, you should check it out. Did you see anything, Damien?
No, I
oh man. Well, then I won't spoil anything.
You can spoil it as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's not spoiling the actual.
There's one highlight. They're doing a Daredevil TV show.
Yeah, Born Again.
It's called Born Again. Yeah, and I think it's going to be like 12 or 16 episodes is what they were saying. So not like a 4-episode thing, but I guess he's also making an appearance in one of the other shows that's coming up, the She-Hulk show. I guess in one of the trailers, right at the end, you see kind of him kind of step into frame. So a little bit of a teaser of that. So I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was exciting, but I mean, that's super exciting. I can't wait to see him back on the screen. I think will be great. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I was trying to say to George on the Meanwhile podcast episode that I was on that as these streaming shows have taken hold, we're seeing more of that. You know how you can do wildly different things with different superheroes and all these different takes on it.
Yeah,
and which I think solidifies superheroes in the mass culture as something you can do all kinds of different stories with, rather than just what you do in Avengers movies or something.
Yeah.
The TV allows a lot more flexibility, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rasa, did you have something else to show us from Self-Made Hero?
Yeah. Yeah. Surprise. Self-Made
He
Hero.
knew it was coming.
Yes.
Yeah. So before my phone dies, so if I cut off, I need to speak up anyway. So the book in question is I Feel Love.
Oh yeah, okay. This you showed us. Yeah.
So it's by Krent Abel. Well, it's anthology actually.
Oh,
it's a
right.
Krent Abel. Wow.
Yes.
So this is
Earl Grey showed this off, I think.
Second one in production. Apparently there's one before for that, but so Krent Abel and who else? Anyway, so it's a couple of them. Is Anya Davidson, Julian Hanshaw, Benjamin Mara, Kat Sims, and Kelsey Broughton. It's a creative team, and they all have take about love in all sorts of different imaginations. Let's do this way. It's really beautifully presented. It's actually kind of, I think it's like really recently published. This book. So so Julian Henshaw and Krent Abel came together and they said, like, let's do something about it. Self-Made Hero was like throwing money at them because beforehand they made many beforehand. So they were talking about there's forwards of this one in 2018. They were basically partying because Self-Made Hero was giving them this money for whatever they made beforehand. And so it was, they decided to make this thing as well with the people. And first story we have about the teenager, and it's drawn by Mara. What is it? Benjamin Mara.
Amazing.
Oh Jesus! I'm sorry about
He's
this
so
camera action, but phone in one hand and this thing's in one hand. So it's this kind of harsh story. So this kid's gonna go into universities, and like family members are very like supportive, but they also like pushy, saying, "Okay, we're just gonna get you into some university. You go and check it out." They leave him in that university, and he is kind of like almost another kid, like guy with glasses, teenager with glasses, and he goes sees these girls, and he starts following them for a reason I don't know what. Teenage boys see a beautiful girl, and say, okay, let's follow them, let's see where they go. So he went. So he goes, and they go into this shop, and apparently the shop which sells a lot of drugs. Like your good stuff. So he goes in there, and the guy looks almost like a Big Lebowski, saying, "Okay, I'll give you something, but you have to give me like $140." And it's the money he had for the weekend. So he goes, smokes it, and he turns into a swamp creature, basically. I'll show you what he turns into. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And look, he turns into this.
Get out of here.
Looks like a play on the man thing with one tentacle from his.
Yeah, maybe a man thing was one thing anyway. So so he goes in there, and it turns in, and he's keep on following those girls. Okay, so while he's following the girls, he vapes this weird thing where people go absolutely crazy. They become really, really horny, like absolutely horny. So this mother goes after a shopping mall and her kids are sitting in the car. I'm sorry, I can't show to you the full things. Very bizarre camera action. I do apologize, but she's basically stops in her in her way, drops the shopping, and saying, "I want to. Somebody needs to fuck me now," kind of thing. And her kids' faces are like this.
Oh.
where they say like, what is mommy doing? And mommy's
that's
doing
hilarious. Yeah.
she takes this creature and basically has, "Oh, take me," you know? And the kids are looking at it. So what happens is, while she's having this tantric sex with this creature, the guy like this random guy comes in to out of the alley, looks it up, okay, goes see what's happening, and like a good soldier, he goes in to sees the kid saying, he's hurting them, and then he shoots him down and he's dead. End of the story.
Oh man.
So that was a story. This is the Brendan Mara story.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Benjamin Mara. Yeah.
Oh, Benjamin Mara, yeah. So yeah, this, and then afterwards it doesn't get any it gets crazier. So Anya Davidson is called Hurt Comfort. This bizarre tale about a girl he's been in psychiatric hospital. Her mom picks her up. It's kind of like mom-daughter relationship. Everything seems to be okay until they watch this weird TV show about this vampire or some like a bizarre fetish TV show. It's called Fandom House. You have to log in to website and start watching, and it says rating explicit, hurt and comfort, bosom, rimming, anal, blood play, shattered climax. It's like that kind of thing. So she goes in to find out, to watch this TV show as well, the mom, basically, because she kind of wants to talk into her girl and comfort her, so to understand what she likes. So basically she gets into that show as well. And then for the bizarre reasons, which I'm not sure if I understood properly, they kind of turn into those characters, and they are two males who is basically rimming each other like to no end, because like whatever, that's how it's supposed to go. But then you end up looking at that the girl and mother turns into, like, it goes to this bizarre scene here, and it seems to be they turn into those two creatures from the TV show. I don't know if I understood that the story properly, to be honest, because like my head and everything. But yeah, it was. I highly recommend this. It's kind of weird and bizarre, and each page has this amazing other artist to work with. And then you go, who's this new? This was Julian Hanshaw's.
So sorry, they're all written by Krent Abel and then just different artists?
No.
Oh, okay.
Or every artist does their own storyline,
Okay.
and they have whatever they want to do on it. Basically, they just get edited by Krent Abel and John Hanshaw.
Understood. Yeah.
So this is the.
Did you didn't accidentally bring this to preschool, did you?
No. This has been far away from everybody. It looks kind of.
That's why they wanted him to come back. They wanted to finish the book.
Yeah, you imagine. Anyway, so this one is I want to watch. So we follow this guy who is basically kind of like looks miserable, and is not happy. He's married to a girl, and they go on holidays. And then he goes to his wife and says, like, this is the holidays, kind of like almost like Spain trip, like the English people that tends to have to go, like cheap one, go and have a beach, so a bit of a sunshine. Anyway, so he talks to his wife and says like, like maybe because we are out here, nobody knows us, maybe we could do something different, because I kind of basically want to see you doing somebody else in front of me. And then she's like, oh, like, I'm not sure about that. But then she sees this guy who is was Danish or somewhere, and he's a jogger who has a big sack. She's like, maybe I could do him. So this is the big sack we're talking about. That those. Oh, I need to. Come on, that's the guy with his underwear. Oh wait, yeah. And the bulge, you can clearly see the bulge, yes. So basically, because of that, she goes, okay, maybe I can do this. So the guy gets drunk and wakes up next day in the morning, thinks everything is all right, goes, and then sees the same guy whistling, passing him by, very happy, and he's like, that's odd. So basically what's ended up, his wife is did it with him without him being part of it, and he gets really disappointed, gets so upset. It's like, what? I missed it. And then basically he's like, and the wife basically tells him the whole story of what happened, what he did, and it shows in here, basically in this comic book. And in his expression, this, I'm not gonna show the thingy, but that's his expression there. I don't know, in the corner, can you guys see it?
Drips of sweat, yeah.
Yeah, that's what his expression
Sweat
is,
on the brow.
because that's what she was doing to him, that guy. Can you see? Can you can you a little really bad action, sorry. Camera action. Can you swap the camera? Oh, nope. Sorry. Me playing around with settings, don't do it. Anyway, so yeah, and there's more, and there is this weird place of a story where the people, like, in this they doing something
that
to
looks like Krent Abel art, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is Krent Abel story anyway. So and it's actually really no speech bubble much. It's basically up to you to decide what's happening around it. But it's extremely bizarre tale as well, with the goat face females who's being done behind the glass. So yeah, great comic if you feel like having this. And then there's another one.
I think Terrence needs this comic.
I know that I need this one. This is on the list. Yeah,
this is another story which is very cartoony art style, but it's a bit more like thinking thoughts kind of thing, storyline, as well, about love. Don't forget, every single story is about love, supposedly.
Yeah.
Or it entails of love.
Alternate,
love making, which is really good as well. A bit bizarre, but this art by, what is his name now? What is this person's name? I think it's Kelsey Roten. I really liked, because it's a beautiful, like, graphically done. I mean,
yeah, it's all really nice looking. Every single story.
Yeah,
exactly. And
very nice art.
Yeah. And this is bizarre tale as well. It's kind of weird. This female, she's pregnant, and her husband has this weird feelings towards she starts seeing things. She has this condition, but she's pregnant at the same time, and they think that something really bad gonna happen, but she still gives birth. And then we jump into where the boy who she gave birth to, that's what she sees. Basically, she sees trees and plants attacking people, and she gets really bizarre. And then we afterwards jump forward in time, and it's her son doing basically the same thing. It's a bit weird, really weird to explain. We need to read it again, but it's really well drawn. I really love this one as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is the last story. So yeah, really good.
It's fantastic.
Terrence, I think you definitely have to have this. You'll probably have a kick of it. Really.
Yeah, no, it looks ridiculously good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Earl Grey has spoken about that when he was talking about Krent Abel. Yeah,
$29 Canadian.
Oh yeah.
In Self-Made Hero published. So yeah, it's very new, I think, as well. So
yeah, very curious to look into more Self-Made Hero stuff too. It seems like there's a bit of a range there.
Yeah. So as I say, I was like, I really liked the cover. I was like thinking, absolutely bizarre and weird, but honestly, what I've read, and the more I talk about it, the more intriguing it becomes. I guess it's nice to share, like always. As I say, guys, miss talking to you guys because of the, it feels very different afterwards when you say it out loud, what you have read. It's like reconfirms whatever you're reading, and it's really good.
Yeah, it just brings your attention to something you maybe didn't realize when you were reading it, talking about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have another Self-Made Hero which I haven't touched, which is
Smell
of Starving Boys, which is really good title.
Show us some of that interior there.
Yeah, so I haven't read it. Let me see. Wow, this is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's a bigger book. Yeah.
That's the art inside.
Oh, hey, look at that. That looks good.
Yeah. And it is by
We didn't
see.
think so either, Paulo. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. Frederick Peters and Lu Hui Fang. I'm sorry if I spelled that as well. Didn't say. It's published 2017, this one. It's like Western type of tale. It says Texas 19 something, 1921s. But anyway,
Oh,
yeah. I'll
That
tell
looks
you
good.
I'll tell you when I read this. Next chat. Because the cover itself is kind of weird as well, because there's the
I
guy
like
in
it. I like it quite a bit. That's really nice colors and stuff on there.
yeah. It's another self-made hero. Yeah,
Right.
really good. My library loves self-made hero, it seems to be. So
That's great.
I'm raking it up so while I can. Yeah.
That's kind of surprising that they had that True Love one there. At,
I know, that was
library.
very bizarre. I didn't know.
Wonder if they knew.
They probably didn't.
They just saw Self-Made Hero and got it in.
Yeah. I don't know, because it's I definitely has to. It doesn't even have your atypical sign what libraries does, the adult everywhere.
Yeah.
Nothing. But yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want my not every kid can take this kind of stuff, you know?
Right.
Yeah, Frederick Peters, it seems to be is going to be quite a. There's another story I'm going to read about him as well, and then there's another one which took my attention, but I'm not sure anything about it. It's called Summer Spirit, and it's No Brow.
Oh, No Brow, nice.
Yeah, and it's by Elizabeth Hollywill, and that's what kind of art style inside. It's very similar to the cover. So
yeah, I mean that's your neck of the woods for sure. Does your library have a lot of No Brow stuff?
Yeah. So I mean, whatever I've seen so far, yeah, it seems to be quite a few things, not major, man, but I think they are kind of like, as I say, there's a chain of libraries, so many of them, like the biggest library which I go to, that's what they get the most of stuff.
Yeah.
But you always never know what they have, because you kind of like to have to go online to check whatever they have.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah, No Brow stuff is always worth checking out. It's always worth not everything I've read has been a huge hit, but there's been some real gems in No Brow.
Also, I felt like a detective story, and apparently this unknown omnibus by Mark Waid is something to look out for.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah,
No.
it says Mark Waid's work at Boom is the finest of his career, and it's like he's defining himself, and all of a sudden that's by Ed Brubaker's words at the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the forward by Gail Simone as well, and it's really nice art inside as well. Give me a second, show it to you. Some of the stuff that's by Mink Osterveer. I don't know how you pronounce the name properly, but so it's a detective, so you know me, I like detectives, and I feel like it's a bit more different, and it's Boom, so far the tale is a couple of pages in, and I'm intrigued to see. It's about this detective who's about to die, and she's on the verge of discovering something, and she's looking for help from somebody else's stuff. It seems to be self-contained story, apparently, hopefully, in this one omnibus size. So
yeah, nice.
I'll have time to read that. So, and my voice is my voice is going, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. Thank you for letting me be here, part of this. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good to see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next weekend we'll try to get ourselves organized for a proper one next weekend.
Yeah, and I'll make sure I'll be a bit more presentable. Let's say this way.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Damien, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, nothing important, but I got all these Jason books out of the library.
Yes.
And I haven't read them yet.
Yeah.
It's funny. Years ago, it's now I've gained sensitivity with the culture of seeing just some people don't want Nazi swastikas on covers,
right?
Even if it's presented negatively.
Yep.
And I'm finding myself like, oh, that's a bit of a shock. But
jarring,
that used to be pretty regular. You'd see Nazi symbols on things,
right?
And you would not assume it's pro-Nazi, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess there's this continuing character ethos because he's in. I did start reading Goodnight Hem. Was that the one that Rasa was reading?
I think so. I think that's the one. Yeah.
I'm surprised that she got into it, because I feel like, as far as I've gotten, it's full of kind of insider stuff on the sort of Hemingway crowd in Paris, the
Right.
Lost Generation and stuff.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think from what my memory was that she got into it a lot. I think it was it made her intrigued to follow him more and read more of his stuff, but I don't know how deep she got into the story.
Yeah, and then I just completely lose track of which character, like these two characters are sleeping together, and I can't remember. One of those might be Athos. I don't even know. So I'm struggling a bit with this book. I know a lot of people love Jason, but maybe this isn't the right book for me to start with.
Yeah.
I might switch over to this one, to I Killed Adolf Hitler, because it's shorter. It's in color. And obviously, I understand what the title's about. I don't know if it's actually about killing Adolf Hitler, though.
Right.
It doesn't look like it when I look at it. And then I picked this up, and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
And I think you've talked about Kim Deitch, and I know
I have a little bit, yeah.
That Colin Loading the Cannon has.
Yep.
And I love the art that I've seen inside, but I haven't stopped yet to read inside. I have too much to read, as you know.
Yeah, always huge stack. Same with me.
And I paid $15 for this, and I don't know if that was a good price or not.
Seems like a damn good deal to me. Yeah, because I don't think that's easy to find.
And then I've been I was hanging out with some comic book people yesterday, and then I went to Comics Adventure, another store, and I got this Hexbreaker, which is I haven't read all the individual Badger stories, because it was a long series.
Yeah.
Which you can always find in the 50-cent bins or the dollar.
Always,
bins.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know there was a graphic novel, and it looks pretty nice. So
the cover on it is incredible.
Maybe I'll dive into it next. Yeah.
I like that a lot. That looks really good.
And I guess First Comics had a line of original graphic novels back then. Somewhere I saw a picture of them all. Maybe it's not in here. Where did I see that picture? Yeah, it's not in here. I must have seen it somewhere else.
Right.
And then I've been grabbing heavy metals all over the place.
Yeah, nice one.
I've decided I'm targeting, I want to have a complete set of 77 through 83.
Yep.
And when you just flip it open, you see some Mobius, which I guess that's part of Inkal.
Yep.
And Den, and I think this one has Den 2 in it. Looks beautiful.
Yeah. Druillet, I think, as well.
Right, Druillet is even shouted out on the cover in this issue. Druillet, and it is a good way if I can get all the issues. I feel like things like Druillet are good in a magazine with no binding problems.
I agree. Yeah, totally agree.
So I'm looking forward. So I feel it's kind of the prices of heavy metal are going up, and Colin said he thinks it's because of kayfabe, and it might be. So where it used to be the average heavy metal I could get for $5, now it seems more like $10. So
yeah, it's the same
more.
Here too. When I see them,
I got some of these for $9. I thought, I better grab them right away.
Right.
But there's so much good stuff in it. But it does feel like you want every issue, because each one is just a little snippet of a story. Have
you checked out eBay for lots to see if there's any lots in there? Even if they contain some doubles, you could use that as trade to your stores. Or
that's a good point. I should look. I hadn't thought of that. I kind of just was enjoying hunting them in the wild.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I feel close. Like each of those target years, I probably now have between 5 and 8 of the 12 issues from each year. Oh, there's The Long Tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
That's one I've always wanted to read.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read most of that before. Oh, this looks cool. Who is this? Is that Kaza?
It looks like Kaza. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those colors, especially.
It's not listed as Kaza, but it really looks like him.
Sure does.
Maybe he's under a different name. It's Nicole Clavu. Oh, there's Ken.
Yeah,
Barbie. And of course, when you're an addictive comic book personality, one thing leads to another. So I thought, well, hey, there's some Vampirillas that are pretty old and aren't too expensive. And they've got nice art in them too.
Beautiful stuff. Those are always so expensive when I see them, like prohibitively expensive here when I see them out there.
Yeah. So I just thought I better just grab them while I can. And I love the art in here.
Oh, that's
I
beautiful.
think it's all Spanish artists from that era. So I got 2 issues of Vampirilla.
It's true, Rick Ray. Yeah, though they are good ones.
They are very
sure,
nice.
But there is something about seeing the magazine format. Like I have a bunch of the hardcovers and I love them, but there's something, and they should absolutely be experienced as big as possible. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. And they are bigger in those albums. So
yep.
I have the albums also. So it's all double dipping. I'm trying to find.
Some artists are worth double dipping
it's
though.
Really beautiful.
It's really nice. Yeah, I so rarely see those out there.
Yeah, he had a bunch. Some of them were more expensive, so I picked out some ones that seemed, can't remember what I spent now, but under $10.
Oh, look at that cover.
That looks like Ken Kelly to me. The Headhunter of London. I don't know if the scripts are any good, but
the lettering is always so good for the titles too. Like they're always stand out.
They were very wordy at Warren. They really kind of went overboard with the wordiness, I think. I wonder if they were script first and the script writer had no idea what the art would look like or who was drawing it or something. And then I got a Hembeck, just a random issue of Hembeck. I'm assuming you remember him from.
Oh shit, yeah, days. I do. Yeah. I mean, I still, when I see his stuff, I pick it up. I've got one issue of that magazine as well too.
Yeah, I think this is my 2nd issue of this magazine, and yeah, it's fun, and
it's super fun.
It again kind of connects to the old fan magazine days, which I find
absolutely
fun. But this is all, I guess this is all Jimmy Olsen stuff. It's also interesting, back then, people just thought it was funny to put on a Groucho Marx nose and glasses.
Yeah.
People were doing that all the time. And now I'm like, why did we think that was so funny?
Yeah, his stuff is a lot of fun. It's just because it's just silly and, you know, I like it. With his swirl elbows and knees and things.
And the one other thing I bought is a really beat up issue of an old Fantastic Four.
Nice.
So this was a few dollars, which it was even more beat up than I realized, but it's not surprising given the price. But there's something really, I've now come, and Jared Osborne might be the first one who pointed it out, that I think it was Jared, that Chick Stone is a really cool inker on old Kirby. And so now I just really enjoy these. He gives Kirby a kind of, he uses these really thick lines.
Okay.
And it almost, it makes me think of, suddenly I'm blanking on names. Michael Allred and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it gives it a kind of uncanny valley, if that makes sense. Look, that anyway, I really appreciate it now. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe extra pop art looking or something.
Right.
Good page. But so this is, I probably have this reprinted somewhere, but I really like having the feel of the original issues.
Absolutely.
So if they're cheap, because one thing is I don't think I mentioned to you, I'm all done showing stuff.
Yep.
But, well, I did mention to you on Twitter originally that my shop got in all these Mobius albums.
Yes, you did.
I got super excited, and he hadn't priced them yet. And I said, put them aside for me. I'll pay whatever you decide to price them at. And when Colin was visiting is when he handed them to me. And the prices were ginormous.
Really, hey?
Especially on the 2 volumes that had been covered by Kayfabe.
Right.
And but I felt like I should be a man of my word, so I bought them.
Yep.
And I have them, and now I don't want to crack them open.
Yeah.
They're so expensive. I don't want to damage them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and especially, unfortunately, with those Marvel ones specifically, they're the epic ones, sorry.
Right.
There is a tendency like to be gentle with them because a little bit further and you hear that crack
Right.
that you don't want to hear on those ones because of the glue. Yeah.
He did give me my shop discount, but he definitely priced them at like the highest level that you could sell them on eBay for.
Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah.
so they were just like, one of them was over $100. And I'm like,
wow.
I just don't want to open this now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm collecting the heavy metals. So eventually I'll have almost all that material through heavy metal. So I guess I'm just going to sell them to someone unread or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I realize I could buy expensive things, but I don't want them. I want the cheap things that I feel comfortable reading, because
totally.
I'm a collector who collects for reading.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I
I
do
mean,
think of
especially
myself as a collector, but
with stuff like that, it's really, that's good trade fodder. You know what I mean? Like, that's really good stuff that, even if you don't sell it, maybe it's part of like a trade for something that you really want. I don't know what that's like for you out there. I don't know if you have comic swaps or what the shops are when it comes to trades and things. But I imagine you have a pretty good history with your shops in town.
My shop definitely will give me credit for older comics or for graphic novels. He doesn't want new comics.
I see. Yeah.
I feel a little embarrassed to just bring them back to him.
No, for sure. Yeah.
After I made a big deal about how he
yeah.
But maybe in time I'll do that, or maybe I don't know.
Or even another shop or something.
Now, but
yeah. And those ones are super tough because, I mean, there's some that, like you said, they price them really high. And I think for the most part, never, obviously, they just don't sell. And then I see, when I've run into them, like again, the famous story of being in Calgary and him having them listed at like cover price, and it's insane to me that it's such a dramatic difference from place to place, that it doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, there are certain things like that there's really not a big demand for, but some people think is worth a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, because they see those sales that did go through on eBay for X amount of dollars, so then they just go for it because why the hell not,
But I think with the Mobius books, and the reason why I reacted that way is you just never see them in the wild.
Yeah, exactly right.
People do not sell their copies. They keep them.
Yeah. Till death. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm afraid that some really cool collector died because my shop got all this cool stuff all at once. All the
amazing
Catalan books and just all kinds of stuff that you could tell it all fit the same kind of taste. And I bought a lot of the Catalan books from him.
Oh, excellent. That's cool.
I'd
love to see
Torres books and stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Daniel Torres. Yeah,
Daniel Torres, a number of Daniel Torres books and other things. So
cool,
because we had guests, I've actually moved a ton of comics out of the office and down into the basement. So I don't have all the ones that I hauled recently around.
Yeah, no.
There's Jared.
What you say? Yeah, he's here.
And he says Chickstone popped out at me in one of the FF Artist editions. And Paulo's right that Chickstone does flatten out Kirby, but I used to hate that. Like, I wanted it more three-dimensional, like Mike Royer or something. But I now kind of find it an interesting effect of that flattened out Kirby.
Right. Hello, Jackio.
Hey, Jack.
Good work on power washing. So I don't really have much else because I haven't finished. I was going to talk about this, but I haven't finished it yet. So I want to kind of finish everything from Mara. But I mean, that first issue I really am enjoying. I really like it. And I didn't realize the list of artists that he was kind of in a room with, or friends with, one of them being Val Merrick. And I think another one being P. Craig Russell, and these people that were encouraging him to do comics.
Who is he? Who is the person you're talking about?
Dennis Kramer is his name.
Okay.
And I have the Eros issue as well. And then when I found all that Eros stuff online, I've got a collection of all this, and it has a Val Merrick pinup in it, which is just gorgeous. But it collects everything. So I kind of want to read everything and then talk about it all at once. But I am enjoying it so far. And then the only other thing that I read this week, not much to say about it because I didn't like it as much as I enjoyed the art on a flip through, this Motherless Child, which is Tom Webb Scott. I thought it was too static. It was too like, here's a bunch of portraits and a couple of like stuff from my sketchbook that I've sort of put in an order and put a dialogue through. it wasn't, you know, like the conversation you and I have had. When is it an art book versus a comic? And I just felt like there wasn't much of a story there. It was some narration with some, again, beautiful pictures, like beautiful drawings, no doubt about it. It just didn't engage me very much. I found like, because I had kind of high expectations for it, it just didn't ultimately work too well. But I'll show a couple of the
high expectations created by your flip through.
Yeah, high expectations by seeing stuff like this. Like these are the last couple of pages, which are just huge portraits. Like it's gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. But unfortunately, it's a lot of that kind of thing throughout the whole book, where it's these beautiful illustrations with a dialogue and a couple of playing with a bit of different styles here as well. But it just really was like, I don't know, it just was so photographic that it's funny how some of the more realistic drawings, to me, and this is just my sensibilities, some of the more realistic art style can feel very stagnant, where it's beautiful stuff, but there seems to be, it's almost lifeless. You know what I mean? I don't know if that quite makes sense. Even though it's based on reality, you know, it becomes lifeless.
It's funny how something that bends reality more can be more full of life.
Yeah.
And as you're reading it, become more real to you.
That's right. Yeah. As you get into the world and stuff and how it's presented. So, I mean, if you see it in a 50-cent bin, it's absolutely worth checking out just for the art. But I wasn't kind of taken with it. It didn't really do much for me at the end of the day.
It's almost like you're looking at an artist's portfolio as opposed to reading a comic.
Yeah. And someone's just written a story around it that sort of relates, and we'll just mash these. I had this short story that I wrote, and I have a bunch of art that I wrote. I'm just going to mash them together and hope there's some sort of something magical that happens, right? So, yeah.
Oh, well.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming. It was nice to see you both. A nice surprise chat on a Sunday.
Nice to see you outside with all that greenery. It's very cheerful.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to sit out here on this side, especially where there's a lot of shade for me. So, yeah. And then thanks very much, everybody, for hanging out. There was 10 of you at some point. So thanks, everybody who was chatting. And we'll see you next week. Hopefully the three of us can work something out, and we'll do a regular schedule Sunday show. We'll see how everybody's schedule is.
Twitter or something.
Yeah, for sure. Right on. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.